There's some major frustration within WWE. Multiple NXT stars appear at the latest TNA tapings. A big return is teased on AEW Collision, and yet another match has been added to Forbidden Door. Hello and welcome to What Culture Wrestling here, the solo Sunday news with myself, Andrew Pollard. I hope you're well, I hope you're good, I hope your weekend is going fantastic or as best as it possibly can. Right, let's get into some wrestling talk and let's get into some frustrations within WWE. Now, this is a report that comes from Fightful Select, who report that basically WWE, people within the company are a little bit fed up after the most recent SmackDown due to the heavy censoring and editing done by Fox. And now this particularly seems to have occurred during the segment where the Indiana Pacers Tyrese Halliburton came out to the ring with Logan Paul. There was a match there, Logan Paul versus LA Knight, versus Santos Escobar. And there was some chants there that got muted out, and Fox have a habit of either just completely cutting the audio or just going to a black screen, which isn't ideal when you're trying to watch what's happening on a wrestling program, and it's just like, nah, this is a black screen. I cannot see what's happening. I cannot hear what is happening. And there was also the show closing angle where the Bloodline decimated Paul Heyman. Oh my word, what a segment that was. Paulie, who would ever have thought that Paul Heyman gets these giant babyface pops? But what a pop it was when he did not acknowledge Solo Sikoa as his tribal chief. Yeah, Paulie, massive babyface in the garden. Brilliant to see. But yeah, so WWE a little bit annoyed, a little bit frustrated with the treatment of this, because obviously it takes away from what you're trying to put out there. So if you've got this great show closing angle where Paul Heyman is attacked by the Bloodline, is put through a table, and you've got these loud "F you" Solo chants as they're all doing the ones, but the audio keeps cutting in and out, or it just goes to black, then that takes away from what you're trying to put across on your television program, of course. Now, for me here, I was watching it on TNT Sports in the UK, and we got all of this. So we got some FU Pacers, I believe it was, chants, and there was definitely, as the show ended, there was very audible, clear, loud FU Solo chants. So we get it all here in the UK, fine, but over in the US with Fox, seemingly this is not does not happen like that, and there's a bit too much censoring going on. The first I heard about this was listening to the Soul Monster Sounds Off. Shout out to Jason, that always does amazing work with the sound off, who was describing the frustrations, and obviously this is frustrations that seemingly are felt within WWE as well. Now, SmackDown is moving from Fox in October, moving to the USA Network, which currently hosts Raw. Raw at the start of next year will be moving to Netflix. In the US anyway, whereas for us here in international countries, international audiences, the whole WWE product will be moving to Netflix at the start of the year, and that's something to look forward to. Now, I believe that USA obviously do edit and do have censors in play for Raw, but it's not quite as heavy-handed as what it is on Fox for SmackDown. So yeah, we'll see how this goes, but I can imagine that would really take you out of the programming, especially like those big segments where the aim is with, say, that segment with Solo Sikoa, the aim there is to generate major heat, and they did. So you do that, you succeed, and then you have to cut to a black screen or mute the audio because you've succeeded too well, and people are basically telling Solo to go and do things that I cannot say here because we will get censored or demonetized by the YouTube gods. So yes, right, let's move on to our next story. It's following on from a story that Gareth Morgan, great, Solo Saturday News yesterday, where it's following on from a story he talked about there, where NXT talents appearing in TNA over the weekend. Now, this happened on Friday night, and again last night, yes. The working relationship between WWE and TNA continues now. TNA have been taping their most recent, their upcoming set of TV tapings at Philadelphia's 2300 Arena, aka the ECW Arena. Yes, this was Friday and Saturday, and the report here comes from bodyslam.net and TNA Asylum.net. So first of all, on Friday, Charlie Dempsey turned up, attacked Trey Miguel. There was a match with him and Trey Miguel, which he won with the help of, I should probably say, spoilers here for TNA tapings. You've got like a 10-second gap here before I go into any further details. That's about right. Right, so yes, Trey Miguel, Charlie Dempsey. Charlie Dempsey won with help from his no-quarter catch crew pal Miles Bourne, who made an appearance. There's a post-match beatdown of the Rascals. There was also Izzy Dame answered Jordan Grace's open challenge for the TNA Knockouts title, which Jordan Grace won. But then Saturday's taping, you had Charlie Dempsey and Miles Bourne were joined by Tavian Heights to take on the Rascals and Kushida. And this was a win for the NQCC, which is, I find that really awkward to say, but hey, I just did it, so we're making progress. And that win was partly thanks to Jonathan Gresham, who would interfere and fight to the back with Kushida. So yeah, this continues the working relationship between WWE and TNA, with this time WWE talent, well, NXT talents going to TNA. This, of course, follows Tatum Paxley appearing in TNA as the opening, answering the open challenge from Jordan Grace at Against All Odds. Was that this month? That was this month. It was the end of last month. We're at the end of June. It was this month, just about, I think. Yeah. Of course, before that, we had Jordan Grace challenge Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's title. He had Frankie Kazarian and Joe Hendry, I believe, who appeared in the Battle Royal early this month to crown a new number one contender for Trick Williams' NXT World title. So yeah, this is things are ticking along nicely with this. There is a question I've seen that's coming as well, which we will get to and talk a little bit more about the TNA and WWE relationship. And for Charlie Dempsey, this isn't the first time he's appeared for another promotion in 2024, because at the start of the year he went over to All Japan, and then WrestleMania weekend he competed for GCW Bloodsport. So yeah, Charlie Dempsey putting himself out there. Maybe he is the real Forbidden Door, which there is Forbidden Door tonight, of course, which we will get to that shortly. But before we get to Forbidden Door, another AEW story, and that is a big return that was teased on last night's AEW Collision. It was the return of Hangman Adam Page. Now, this it was a video package that aired where you could tell it was Adam Page without knowing it was Adam Page, because it was just like little cuts here and there, but it was Page in his house. It was played up on Swerve Strickland entering his house and tormenting his child, God, when they had their rivalry early in the year. There was references to the suspension by the Young Bucks, where they suspended Hangman from the Elite. That was the same time when they fired Kenny Omega from the Elite. There was lots of whiskey drinking because, hey, it's Hangman Page. I do love a whiskey myself, so I'm not saying anything there. There were previous reports that Hangman will be returning either late June or early July. As I'm recording this, it is June the 30th, so it's late June, and we will soon be in early July. And there's also plenty of speculation that Hanger could be the wild card in the Owen Hart tournament. Who I believe, they are facing Jeff Jarrett, the wild card. If you've not seen it, go out of your way to watch the full 10 minutes version of Jeff Jarrett explaining about the Owen Hart tournament, why it's so special to him in his relationship with Owen, because it's just absolutely phenomenal. Professional wrestling TV, and not just professional wrestling TV, but real life. This is somebody I'm going off the tangent here, but hey, why not? Just really annoyed me when there was lots of people why is Jeff Jarrett in this tournament? It's like, come on, dude. I get it. There's some people might be younger fans or newer fans, and they don't quite know the history. But as soon as you do a smidge of looking into that history or digging into that history, you immediately realize that, man, this is why Jeff Jarrett is in this tournament. Just an amazing video that they put together, AEW, which they do these things all the time. To be honest, when they'll have a little snippet of a video on, say, Dynamite or Collision or Rampage, where it's maybe 2 minutes, and then there'll be an extended 10-minute cut on their YouTube channels. I mean, if it was me, I'd have just aired the whole 10-minute thing because it was just absolutely great. But anyway, yes, so Hangman Page is on his way back. Could well be the wild card. Could well face Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett, I'm a big Jeff Jarrett mark. Me and Michael Hamflett regularly geek out about JEFF, JARRETT. But Jeff Jarrett is not making it out of that first round, unfortunately. And I think if it is Hangman Page, it comes back, and he is going to be more of... leaning more towards his darker instincts, maybe not an outright heel, but if he's going to be a bit edgy, then one way to get heat is to take out Jeff Jarrett in that first round, I think. Especially, I mean, if it wasn't for the story they were telling, then Jeff Jarrett's a heel, but at the moment he's a situational babyface because he's doing this for his long lost, sadly dearly departed friend. It's a great story. Right, moving on to I did mention Forbidden Door, and another match has been added to Forbidden Door, because obviously, when you look at the card for Forbidden Door from top to bottom, you're thinking, man, we need more matches because there just isn't enough. I mean, there was only 13 matches, so let's make it 14. Yes, so the 0 hour pre-show has had a match added, which is Private Party versus the House of Black's Malachi Black and Brody King versus Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii versus Roderick Strong and Gabe Kidd. So yes, that is, if you include the pre-show, that is a total of 14 matches for Forbidden Door. If you just look at the main card, it's a total of 10 matches for Forbidden Door, which these AEW shows are I'm a little bit conflicted because for the most part, the wrestling is always good to excellent, but it's just they're too damn long. It's like, come on, man. It's like, oh yeah, this is great wrestling, but you can only watch great wrestling for so long when you get into like into the 4th hour or the 5th hour. If you're watching the pre-show, you get on for, it's just, sometimes it could be less is more, Tony, at times, especially with this match where I don't know. Obviously, you look at the talents involved, 8 very talented people. But it's like, okay, so Kyle O'Reilly and Ishii are just teaming because Roddy and Gabe Kidd are teaming just because they're heels. Gabe Kidd's, oh God, man, how good has he been doing over these past couple of years? Absolutely killing it, man, in New Japan. But yeah, it's a very thrown together match that doesn't, to me, add anything to Forbidden Door whatsoever, apart from making the entire show completely unnecessarily longer. Because you can imagine these guys are getting, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Yes, it is on the pre-show, so you could always skip it. It's easy to skip, but it doesn't. I don't know. It's one of them where there's no real benefit for me apart from just getting people on the card. When you don't really need to get them on the card. Is it obviously with the 0 hour pre-show? The idea is that people watch this for free, with the idea that this will incentivize them to like, oh, I need to buy this pay-per-view now. I think if you're watching 0 hour and you've not bought Forbidden Door already, this isn't a match that's going to be like, oh my God, I need to get this pay-per-view already. No, you don't. But anyway, that's me just having a ramble because I like more condensed, concise pay-per-views. I say this, I'm fully aware of the irony of me talking about condensed and concise when I ramble on for ages on these news videos. So with that said, I will quickly move on. I will move on to some questions. Right, Dustin Sentinel's got in touch. Hey, Dustin, would you consider doing the wrestling news more than just Sundays, or will it have a negative impact on your voice? Well, it's funny you should mention that because my voice, I don't know how it's coming across today. My voice has been a little bit knackered for like since April. So what? I get on for 3 months, 3.5 months. Where I've had antibiotics, I've had various tablets, I've had an X-ray on the chest, I've got an appointment coming up at the hospital with the ear, nose, throat specialist. So yeah, my voice, so at the moment. But in terms of, I consider doing more wrestling news. I'm always up for doing it. I'm always up for doing it. It's all good by me. I enjoy doing these things. It's fine. It's always good when you get, you just get a chance to talk and ramble, in my case, about wrestling. But it's just a case of, it's more suited to the guys in the office in a week because they have the office, they have the studio there, the studio setup, which is a great setup. I'm here in my little office / man cave. So it's a far more professional setup in the studio with those guys, and they do such a great job, whether it's Adam Wilborn, whether it's Hamlet, whether it's Andy Murray, whether it's Phil, whether it's whoever is filling in on that day, whether the times when Sidge is on there. So yeah, the guys there do a great job, and I'm just here because nobody else works on the Sunday. So it's kind of almost, I am, oh God, this is an awful description of myself. I am the JBL in that case, where it's like, you're only champ because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays. I'm only here doing the news because nobody else wanted to work Sundays. So yeah, but no, I'm always up for doing more news, or just whatever. I'm all good with that. Fraser Cranium, no, where are we? Fraser's got in touch with a brilliant cup of coffee there. Actually, that's another to do with wrestling chat. Where are we? Bruins Fool. Hey Andrew, what is your dream intergender match from any time? For me, it's Bryan Danielson versus Serena Deeb under pure rules. In my opinion, they tear their house down. That's a really good shout, to be honest, because if I'm thinking an intergender match, there's either 2 ways you can go for me. It's either you go like an all-out war with crazy rules, or you go with the more mat-based style where it's more of a grappling contest. And so I think in this way that the pure rules works really well. And I think Serena Deeb is the best technical woman in the world. I think Bryan Danielson still is the best technical wrestling man in the world. So for me, this kind of nails it. I would happily see Danielson versus Deeb in a pure rules match. I do enjoy pure rules. There was a spell during the pandemic when Ring of Honor obviously scaled everything back and there was no crowds around, and they decided to bring the pure belt back. And it was just some really great matches, man. They did that tournament, and that was the first time I saw Willie Yuta was in that tournament. And it's like, this guy's dude. This guy looks good. Also, Fred Yehai, the Savage Weight, that guy was fantastic. So I kept an eye on him in there. You had Josh Woods looking like an absolute beast, which is like, do more with Josh Woods, please, Tony, do more with Josh Woods. But yeah, though, I'm all about the pure rules. I think that's a great shout. Is Deeb versus Danielson. One last message, question even Hector Garcia the third. Hey Hector. Any insight into the WWE TNA relationship? With the global reach of WWE, it feels like the ones to benefit most are TNA, getting more eyes on them. Do you think WWE is getting some financial incentive, or is it mutually beneficial and getting more eyes on NXT too? I don't think there's anything financially involved. I don't think one company's paying the other particularly. It's just a case of you can use some of our talent, we can use some of your talent. Let's see how things go. As for who benefits the most, again, it's kind of a mixed one because you look at it and I mean, effectively TNA sent arguably their biggest star, if not their biggest star, one of their very biggest stars in terms of Jordan Grace to NXT. Whereas when you look at repaying the favor, I think Charlie Dempsey's absolutely fantastic, but it's not quite the same like for like in terms of a top star going one way and a top star going back to the other way. So you could maybe look at it like that. But then I think that TNA gets more eyes on it because just a general buzz about it. And it's good for TNA to be seen to a bigger audience, a wider audience, on a show that's more accessible to more people in terms of having names appear on NXT programming. And I think that for WWE, their benefit is that, yeah, it gives them a chance to have some of their talents experience working in different companies. Talk about Izzy Dane before, who appeared at the latest set of TV tapings to challenge Jordan Grace. Izzy Dane, that's a new opportunity for her to go and work with different talent in a different environment. Same with Tatum Paxley when she appeared at Against All Odds. But also as well for WWE, it gives you a chance that, because let's face it, this is a business. And the aim of the wrestling business, if you're in charge, is you're going to try and get as many or as much feasibly that you can good talent in your company. That's the aim of the game. You want the best wrestlers, the best talents, the best entertainers. And for WWE, make no bones about it. While it's great that like John Grace, you come on in, let's come on. You can have a match with Roxanne Perez. It'll be a really good match. There you go. Make no mistake about it. WWE is look at these people, and it's almost like it turns into like a scouting mission where it's like, oh, let's have a look at this Jordan Grace. Let's see what she's like. Let's see how she handles herself backstage. Let's see maybe, what's going to happen when her contract's up. Or it's a case of you bring in a Joe Hendry and you test the waters there. It's like, well, and obviously he got massive numbers for them, just in terms of socials and YouTube and whatnot. I believe it was the most liked or most viewed or both video that WWE put onto X since WrestleMania was Joe Hendry. So yeah, it's a way for WWE to explore new talent without actually signing the talent. You just get them in, and it's almost like a little trial run of like, well, let's see what Joe Hendry's like. Let's see. I mean, with Kaz, it's a bit different because Kaz is at the veteran stage of his career where he was just somebody that can come in as a really steady hand to represent TNA, because Kazarian's great, man. What a career he's had so far. But yes, hopefully that has answered your question there, Hector. Thank you for sending that in. With that, I will go off and do some other work and drink lots of coffee, because caffeine is great. I've been Andrew Pollard. This has been What Culture Wrestling, the Souls on the News. Another video that is great is floating around here. Click on that. It'll be fantastic. You'll have a wait a little time. If not, don't complain to me. But anyway, I'll be back next weekend. Have a great rest of your day.